I had asked Herman to build me a guitar. He built this. He closed this guitar on March 7, 1975. And that's one day before my birthday. He called me and said, "Your guitar is finished. When are you coming to Reisbach?" And I told him when I was going to show up in Reisbach. It was a tour with my family. And so it still was, at the end, it was like a month and a half before I could get to Reisbach. By the time I got to Reisbach, Hauser had suffered a massive stroke. And he could not speak. He lost his ability to speak altogether, completely. Then when I asked about my guitar, then where is my guitar? Mrs. Hauser says to me, "Mr. Pepe, my husband didn't make you a guitar. That guitar is for Mr. Celine." And I said, "No, that guitar was made for me. And before he had the stroke, he called me. No. That guitar is for Mr. Celine." It's very funny what happened. She was mad at me because Munich was plastered with posters of our concert, and I was holding my Miguel Rodriguez in the picture. Celine was playing on that tour Manuel Velázquez, but like I have said before, Manuel Velázquez looks exactly like a Hauser. So Mrs. Hauser thought that Celine was playing on a guitar by her husband. Celine just went along with her and says, yes, of course, he made it for me. And he took out his money and paid her and bought the guitar. And I was furious. I was so mad. I told Herman III, when you get to be an adult and you are running this place, I'll come back. I'll never come back, which is not true. I did go back because in one of the tours that I broke a tooth, and Mrs. Hauser was a dentist. And I went back, and she gave me a gold tooth. She put a gold tooth. I looked completely like a gangster. And but anyway, I made up with her later. But I was very mad. And Herman came out, and he could understand everything that was happening. His mind was fine. He just couldn't speak. So when we were leaving, he went in, and he picked up one of his guitars and gave it to me, put it in my hands, and gave me the sign, "Go, take it, go." But of course, I didn't take it. I refused it. I didn't want him to get into any kind of trouble after I went. And Mrs. Hauser had her temper. I remember Herman Hauser made a guitar for my brother Angel. And the compensation that Hauser put was many times overcompensated. So the harmonic didn't happen right over the fret. In this one is fine. And the octaves is good. But many times they played flat. And then therefore the harmonic was not there. And Angel was telling Herman Hauser that he loved his guitar, but it had that problem. And Mrs. Hauser interceded and said, "Mr. Angel, wherever my husband put the harmonic, that's where you have to put your finger." So we had a very nice even the minor fights that we had were wonderful. And this guitar, after Celine teased me for a whole month that the tour lasted. He kept it with him. He played it in the concerts. And he made me suffer for a month. And then at the end of the tour, he says, okay, Pepe, I know he made it for you. So here, this is for you. And actually, I had bought a Rodriguez, and we traded. And that's what happened. I gave Celine the Rodriguez, he gave me the Hauser, and I have played her quite a few times. Many concertos, and I absolutely love this instrument. And according to Herman's later the third, this is one of the very last guitars that his father made completely by himself.